particular, we are looking at the compounding effect of patience, resilience, and experience in business. And let me make it clear, this is from the 4th chapter of our book, The Confounding Compounding. And what I will do, I will look at patience, then I'll look at resilience, I'll look at experience, and then I'll look at the compounding effect of the three of them in business. We are going to draw some lessons at the end from the book, The Psychology of Money. So let me start with a question. Is there a difference between patience and resilience? Yeah, so there's a big difference. I agree with you guys. I actually decided to check at the Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary whether there's a difference. And for sure there is a difference. Patience is the ability to wait or to continue doing something despite difficulties, or to suffer without complaining or being annoyed. It's not just a question of waiting, but how you wait, the attitude while you are waiting. So the key word about patience is waiting. But resilience, the key thing is bouncing back, as Keboy said. The ability to bounce back. That's what resilience is all about. So Cambridge Advanced Dictionary defines resilience as the ability of a substance to return to its usual shape after being bent, stretched, or pressed, which is the ability to bounce back. Yeah. Experience is not a big deal. All of us know what that is. The process of getting knowledge or skill from doing, seeing, or feeling things. So I want us to dissect each of these terms in respect to our lives and to business. And then we are going to integrate the concept of confounding compounding using the three terms. So let's start with patience. And we have agreed patience is the element of time, and not just time, but how you wait. Because the thing is this, for example, if two people are jobless, they are all waiting, whether they want it or not, they are both waiting. The fact that you're both waiting does not mean you're patient. No. If it takes 2 years to get a job, and two potential candidates are both waiting, it doesn't mean they're patient, because circumstances could be forcing them. The patient candidate is the one who has the right attitude during the wait. So patience is your attitude during the wait. That's what you're talking about. And that's what Philip is saying here. Patience is the ability to accept without getting upset. So it's the time factor, the attitude during the wait. In fact, I did a message called I Hate to Wait. You can check it in my YouTube channel. A year ago, I hate to wait. None of us likes waiting. The question is, what is our attitude during waiting? When you're waiting to get married, you're waiting to get a job, you're waiting to be admitted in a university, you're waiting to be promoted, you're waiting for your business to grow, you're waiting to be healed, you're waiting for somebody even in a restaurant. What is your attitude? That's what patience is all about. So let me ask you some 5 quick questions just to check our patience. And this is a serious test for all of us. I'll just read the 5 of them and tell me whether you struggle in any of these 5 areas. 1, do you struggle to finish reading a book? Maybe you bought this book as we agreed. You read a couple of chapters and you didn't finish. Do you struggle finishing reading a book? Question 2, do you get irritated waiting for someone? You had agreed to meet in a restaurant, say at 10:30 they have not come. This particular class is supposed to start at 8. Of course, we started before 8. Nyabura was engaging the people. We normally start in time. And but I'm asking, you're waiting for someone for a coffee date, and they come 30 minutes later. Do you get irritated? That's the question. Irritated. And people here are so honest. Nancy says yes. Joyce, yes. Okay. Question 3. Have you ever broken a relationship because your partner was not changing fast enough? Maybe you had a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You thought they are going to overcome smoking or alcoholism or anger or resentment or bitterness, but they were not changing fast enough. And maybe you broke the relationship. Maybe they were even a spouse. Maybe it was your boss in your place of work, but they were not changing. Maybe it's an employee. You are the supervisor of somebody, you're junior, but they were not changing fast enough. Maybe in your own business, you had to fire someone because they were not learning fast enough. Number 4, do you shout at your children? By the way, shouting at kids is an indication of an impatient individual. Because when you're patient, you're able to explain soberly. If you raise your voice, you're most likely very impatient. And lastly, do you jump from one business to the next? 6 months later, it doesn't work, or a year later, it doesn't work. Next. I think we can do boutique. Next. Okay, John has given me number 1 and number 2 and number 4. Okay, check for yourself. Which area do you need to work on out of the 5? Remember, none of us, for example, if we talk about waiting for somebody, none of us likes waiting for someone who is late. We don't like that. The question is, what is our attitude when somebody gets late? Do you get irritated, or are you relaxed? Do you still have the inner peace? Maybe there was something beyond their control that has made them to be late. Do you still have your inner peace, or do you lose your cool? That's what I'm asking. You get married and your partner is not changing fast enough. Do you still have the inner peace? Do you take time before you judge people, before you give up on people, before you give up on business? Some benefits of patience: you enjoy better health. Number 2, patient people have better relationships. Number 3, patience helps us achieve our goals. Now the question is then, how can we develop patience? How can we develop patience? Let me propose a few things. 1, have a strong why for patience. Know how much it will cost your relationships, your business, your career, your own peace of mind, your health. Everything starts with the why, the purpose, why you're doing it. Number 2, identify what you need to work on. You need to work on being more patient with people, being more patient with business. Number 3, have the right perspective about life. Basically, know there is nothing you can microwave in this life. You have to go through the entire entrepreneurial process. And number 4, slow down. It's not the speed, it's the direction and the focus. It's the direction you're facing and the focus. Number 5, learn from successful people. There is no such a thing as the day of success. It's a whole process. And I think I am totally convinced that the main line between those who succeed and those who don't is patience. So about patience, let me just tell you some 5 things to remember. 1, to lose patience is to lose the battle. 2, the 2 most powerful warriors are patience and time. 3, our patience will achieve more than our force. 4, have patience. All things are difficult before they become easy. Repetition is the mother of mastery. As you continue doing it over and over again, you master the craft. And finally, patience is not just the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. Let's talk about resilience. So I want us to look at types of resilience, and I'll mention 6 of them: physical, mental, emotional, social, financial, business. Now, let me ask you, why build resilience? Why is it important? Anybody? I'll just read the first to comment. Why build resilience? Why is it important? I can see most of you have been able to bounce back in all these areas. Is it necessary to bounce back? And the way you can answer this question, what happens if you don't bounce back? Elliot says, helps to create muscle power. Yeah. You shook it to cushion you. What happens if you don't bounce back? You lose, exactly. Vimal says you lose. You lose. You lose. That's your end. Actually, you die, Elliot is saying. This is true. If you can't bounce back, your story is over. You don't have a choice. You have to be resilient. The question is not whether we have resilience. It is how much resilience you cultivate, because you don't have a choice. You have to bounce back. Why build resilience? Life will hit you hard. If you can't bounce back, life will kill you. That's a fact. Why? Life does not get easier or more forgiving. We get stronger and more resilient. So how then do we become more resilient? So my suggestion today, number one, choose positive thoughts. Focus on what you can change. Number three, manage stress. And number four, build a social support system. Be intentional on having people around you, people who cheer you up. Everybody needs cheerleaders. Everybody needs a pat on the back. Then we can conclude, failure is not falling. Failure is inability to rise up. You need to dust off, rise up, and move on. I have 4 takeaways for resilience on your screen. A bed in the road is not the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn. Number 2, falling is not failure, but failing to rise up is. The third takeaway, nobody's life is a smooth sail. We all deal with the stormy seas of life. It is the courage to continue that counts. And the fourth takeaway from resilience, entrepreneurship is reserved for the resilient. So let's talk about experience. Why is experience important? Experience teaches you how to handle failure, because the more you stay on the job, the more you stay in the business, you will fail enough times. Experience humbles you. You stop bragging. The more experienced you are, the more you give God the glory. Experience increases your self-confidence. It's a fact. When you're more experienced in a job, you feel more confident to do it. Experience helps you to achieve more with less effort. The more you do something, the more you don't spend too much effort in doing it. Experience helps you build networks. Why? If you stay in a certain industry for so long, you build networks in that line, in that industry. And finally, experience makes you more marketable. So what's my suggestion based on that? Look for a mentor. A mentor teaches you through experience, but also look for a coach. A coach guides you. That's the difference. A coach asks you questions. Quickly, we learn 10% of what we read, 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, 50% of both of what we hear and see, 70% what is discussed, 80% of what we experience personally, 95% when you teach somebody else. Like now what I'm teaching you. This is not my discovery. This is what William Glaser wrote after rigorous research. So matters experience, this is what I need you to take away. 5 things to remember. Number 1, you cannot create experience, you must undergo it. Can't create it. View every experience as an opportunity for growth. Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. Our time on earth is a continuous learning experience, and none of us is exempted. Nobody learns for you. You can't ride on your grandfather's experience. You learn from them, but you have to experience life yourself. I want to summarize by looking back at this book, The Compounding Effect of Patience, Resilience, and Experience. And right into chapter 4 of this book, Morgan Housel argues this: 81.5 billion of Warren Buffett's 84.5 billion net worth came after his 65th birthday. He started investing when he was 11.